If you've ever felt like you're constantly apologizing, you're holding back, or you're afraid of being too much, this episode is for you. Today, we're diving into good girl conditioning, how it keeps you small, exhausted, and disconnected from your true power. And most importantly, how can we start to break free from it so you can step into your full unapologetic self? By the end of this episode, you're going to have some major aha moments. And if you feel called out, good. It means you're waking up to the patterns that have been holding you back. So grab your coffee, grab your water, go for a walk, get settled in because this one is going to hit deep. So I want to make sure you're prepared. Let's go. Okay, so let's get real. We were raised to be good girls. And that's a problem because we were taught to be polite, to not ruffle any feathers, keep people happy, don't take up too much space, obey the rules, follow the rules, do as you're told, right? All of this, I think they were trying their best with us. And yes, we want to be kind and considerate, but here's the problem. It gets dangerous when being the good girl means silencing yourself, means holding back, means not saying what you want to say or not being yourself. So when you swallow your own opinion to avoid making others uncomfortable, that's a problem. When you say yes when you really mean no, that's a problem. When you make yourself smaller so you don't intimidate people or you're afraid to take up space because there won't be space for other people, that's a problem. And it's a conditioning that doesn't just affect our personal lives, it affects every single other aspect of our lives, our career, our relationships, and even our self-worth. Well, at the base of it, it's all about self-worth. So think of it. Are you someone who grew up and was being told to be polite, obey the rules, do as you're told, don't be too loud, just sit in a corner and stay quiet while the adults are having their conversation? And how did this impact your career or your jobs growing up, your relationships, the way you show up, the way that you present yourself to the world? Just take a moment and reflect because I pretty much guarantee that you can start to connect the dots and draw some conclusions from the good girl conditioning and how it's affected you as you've grown up. And obviously, I'm talking about this because I can relate to it. I was praised for being quiet as a child, for being able to just sit in the corner and color and draw and write and whatever, to be the good girl. And so essentially, I was taught that in order to be loved, you need to be quiet. When I grew up, I was shy. I didn't know how to use my voice. I didn't know how to take up space because I was always just pushed in the corner and praised for being in the corner. So I stayed in the corner. And yeah, they put baby in the corner. Dirty Dancing reference for all of you out there. But essentially, when I grew up in my career, I did have a skill when it came to public speaking, but I feel in retrospect it was because I was given the platform. I didn't take it. I was in a role where I needed to speak up and there was space for me to do so. But if I think back to meetings, just like a regular staff meeting, I was never the one to speak up because I left everyone else the place. Or I was, well, more likely because I was conditioned to stay quiet and to observe and to not speak unless I was called upon, unless I was asked, unless I was invited, unless I was given permission. So my entire life, I waited for permission to express myself, to say my opinion. The only difference for me is that I had dance as an outlet. So that's where I was able to take my space. But even then, like I never wanted to be in the front. I never wanted to be in the center. I was put there and then I did what I needed to do. But I was never the one to like go to the front of the class. So obviously, this conditioning held me back for a long time. Even showing up now in my coaching role, for the first few years, I was so careful with my communication. Even on this podcast, I feel I was so diplomatic and politically correct when it came to expressing my opinions and how I feel about certain things. On social media, same thing. I was very general, very vague. But that time is over, my friends. We are showing up unapologetic and we are saying the shit that we need to say because guess what? If I don't say it, who else is going to say it? I have opinions. I'm here to share my thoughts with you. I have polarizing opinions, maybe some even controversial, but I'm here for it because I want to make sure that my voice is heard. And I'm sure that other people out there, and if you're listening and if you've been a loyal listener to my podcast, you are here for a reason. And I know my people will stay with me, even if I have some controversial things to say. And I love controversial things because then it starts a dialogue, it starts a conversation, it gets us to open up and say what we really mean. And that's what I want to get to, the root of our authenticity. Stop wearing the masks, stop playing those roles, stop people pleasing and saying things just because you don't want to start conflict or you want to make sure everybody's happy. You're not going to make everybody happy anyways. So just be yourself. Be yourself and say what you truly mean. And that's the role that I'm stepping into, and I want to help you do the same. So, first, let's talk about a few signs and symptoms, we'll call them, of being stuck in this good girl conditioning. Well, the first, and it's very Canadian as well, saying sorry for things that aren't your fault. So you bump into someone, oh, I'm so sorry. You ask a question, sorry, I was just wondering what it is that you meant by that. Or like someone asks you something and you're like, sorry, I don't think I can. Like, why are we sorry? Why are we so sorry for things that have nothing to do with us? Why are you sorry for asking a question? Why are you sorry for someone else bumping into you? Like, why are we sorry for these things that don't even relate to us? And in a sense, we've been trained to apologize for existing. And I'll say that again. We're apologizing for existing, for taking up space, for asking for what we need. And that habit is making us smaller than what we are. So we're going to shift this right away. I don't even want to wait till later. Right now, if you're someone who says sorry all the time, this first shift has helped me a lot. So let's say you're late. Someone's been waiting for you. Instead of arriving and saying, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late, arrive and say, thank you for waiting. Thanks for your patience. Instead of saying, sorry to bother you, say, do you have a moment? No, sorry. Just do you have a moment? Instead of saying, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. Like, I don't know why these emotions are coming out. That's a big one. When you're talking with someone and some emotions are starting to arise, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just getting emotional. Stop apologizing for having your feelings be real and raw and needing to come out. Say, this really matters to me, or just be in your emotions. All of my clients, at one point or another in my sessions, they cry. Why? Because it's a powerful release of emotions. When we start doing this inner work, we start to get to the root of what has been suppressed and we start to work through that together. So the tears are going to come. It's just a natural way of releasing, and I welcome them. How I approach this, usually the clients, it's met with a lot of shame and a lot of embarrassment, like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm crying. I stop them right there and I say, invite the tears, let it out, release them. They need to be released. There's a reason why. Don't suppress them. So I encourage them to let their emotions flow, to let their emotions free. And over time, they become used to that natural release that is happening. And they stop apologizing for being emotional or just for being real and raw. And that's what I want to help you with as well. So stop apologizing for things that are not your fault. All right, so we're done with that. The second thing that I want to talk about, and this is definitely something that I can relate to, worrying more about being nice than being honest. The nice girl, the good girl, the polite girl. So this can look like you say yes when you really mean no, lack of boundaries. You agree just to keep the peace, even if it's something like where to go for dinner, right? So you're not wanting to start conflict. And the biggest one, you hold back your real thoughts because you don't want to come off as rude. There is a way to be honest without being rude, and this is what I want to teach you. We have a deep desire to belong, to be liked, to be accepted, to not be rejected. So, if anyone falls into this trap of wanting to be nice and then holds back on saying what they really feel, here's what I want to help you start doing to shift that. So, we're going to move away from sugarcoating. That never helped anybody. I want you to start saying and practicing what you actually mean, saying it in a very compassionate, respectful way. So, if someone asks you for their opinion or someone asks you what you think, don't resort to what do they want to hear. I want you to challenge yourself and say, what do they need to hear in the most respectful, compassionate, loving way to help them? That is a good shift. The next one, instead of agreeing because you want to be polite and you don't want to seem difficult, I want you to practice sharing your opinion. I want you to honor the other person. I see your point, but I feel differently because, and share your opinion and have a natural, respectful debate. Why not? This one I see a lot, and especially on social media, people are afraid to say their opinions, or they say their opinions in a rude way because they're hiding behind the screen. In real life, I want us to practice voicing how we truly feel. It is totally natural and normal for you to not agree with everybody, for you to have your own opinion. And I want you to start voicing that opinion in a way that feels good for you. And like I had said earlier, if the first opinion is, I don't feel like eating that for dinner, I know you love it, but here's what I suggest. Maybe it's something that's not as big as this is how I feel on a certain political stance. Maybe it's just here's what I feel like eating and I don't agree with you. I don't feel like having chicken tonight. I want to have some pasta. Voice your opinion in a way that feels good for you and start to practice with those small steps to then be able to build up to the deeper, more controversial topics that you have a right to have an opinion on. Another way that we try to keep it good girl and nice is by over explaining. Have you fallen into this trap? You over explain, especially when it comes to your no. First of all, do you even say no? But when you do say no, then you start over explaining and you give way too much information because you want to justify or defend your no so that they understand and they're not mad at you for saying no. We cut that right there. Learn to say no in a very confident way because you've set a healthy boundary. Every time you say no because there's an opportunity for that person to challenge the no, and then you end up saying yes in the end. Can you relate? So let's cut that pattern right there and just start saying no with confidence, with courage, with directness, and be bold about it. And again, start small. No, I don't feel like going there for dinner. Let's stay home and cook something together. Example, I always come to food. I'm Italian. We always talk about food. All right, moving on. Do you hold back in case you're too much? That's another problem when it comes to good girl conditioning. We hold back on showing up, taking space, saying what we truly mean, just being in our essence. We hold back because we're afraid of being judged. So, more concrete examples, you don't share your real thoughts because you don't want to be judged, or you tone yourself down not to intimidate people. You're scared of being too loud, too opinionated, too ambitious, too much. But what if I told you that too much is actually what makes you special and unique? And if someone can't handle it, they are not your people. I will say it again. When you show up, your too much is what makes you unique. Your too much is exactly what will attract your people to you. So those who can't handle your too much is just a natural filtering process. They are not your people. And this is something that I am stepping into fully because I definitely relate to holding back my opinion, taking my space, even just stepping into the coach that I want to be. I'm like I'm still sugarcoating. I don't know if you all notice, but like I'm still, like I said earlier, very general, very vague. Like, no, now we're going to talk direct because I need the people who want to work with me to know that I am talking to them. So the filtering process needs to happen through the words I use, through how I show up, through my energy. And I want you to also learn to attract your people to be your most authentic self by asking, how would my highest self show up right now? Would my highest self hold back in this position? And start owning your voice. Start owning your ideas, your energy. Show people the full version of you because that is what they want to see. Contrary to what you think that you're going to show up like that and they're going to judge you, well, you might be surprised, pleasantly surprised, that they're going to naturally be attracted and gravitate towards you. And if they do judge you, well, then it just lets you know that they're not your people. So these are just a few examples that I relate to and that I've seen where the good girl complex and conditioning has taken over our lives. And I want you to really start to notice that. So if we can break down this process of shifting from the good girl complex to owning your truth and your power and your voice, there are three simple steps, and they're always the same whenever it comes to a shift or a transition, a transformation. The first is always awareness. So notice where you're holding back. Are you the person who's saying sorry when you don't need to? Are you apologizing for existing? Are you the person who is scared to voice their opinion because they're going to be judged? Are you trying to be nice versus being honest? Are you afraid to take up space? Are you afraid of being too much? Right? So just to notice those patterns and then start to make a small shift. What is one thing you can do differently when you catch yourself and have that awareness? How can you move forward just a little differently? How can you say no without an explanation? How can you voice your opinion in a compassionate, respectful way? How can you take up space and be in your energy in a very natural, comfortable way? So here what we want to do is we want to start stretching you out of your comfort zone because we've been living in our comfort zone of being the good girl for too long. And we can't fully break free yet because that's going to break us out of our comfort zone too fast and it's not going to give us lasting change. We're going to quickly revert back to where we're comfortable and where we're familiar. So we need to create little steps that move us forward, that stretch the elastic of our comfort zone a little bit more each time so that we can just go bigger and wider and eventually step out of the comfort zone. But for now, what is that one small step that you can do? And over time, you'll get to a place where you'll be able to be confident in being yourself, that you'll have the courage to say what you truly mean and just show up in your full power and your authentic self. And trust me when I say that's the version of you that people want to see. That's the version of you that's interesting, that's unique, that's special, that is going to connect with everybody. If you're having trouble connecting with people, if you have social anxiety, if there's a lot of factors that are holding you back from just showing up and being yourself, I want to encourage you to just take a small step in your authenticity. Does it look like saying what you truly mean, telling someone an opinion, deciding where you want to go for dinner instead of letting someone else do it for you? Start saying no and stop saying yes, right? So, what does that look like for you? It's hard. It's difficult. It's challenging, especially if, like me, you've been praised for being a good girl since you were born, a quiet, obedient girl that just sits in the corner while everyone else talks. Yeah, we got to break free of that. We definitely have to move forward in a way that we are owning ourselves, that we value ourselves enough, and we are worthy of having an opinion and using our voice and speaking our mind. There is definitely something that is holding back within you because you don't feel you're worthy of sharing your opinion. You don't feel you're worthy of having this point of view, of being heard, of being seen. So there's deep inner work that needs to be done to start clearing that. And just know that if that's something you want to explore, I'm here for you because I'm going through it and I'm making progress for myself. So I'm coming out on the other side and I see how powerful that can be. So now I want to take you through that too. I want to take you through the journey of embracing who you truly are, getting real and raw and honest with yourself, and start breaking down those walls that have been protecting you for so long from being judged by what others think of who you truly are. So if you feel called out, that's good. If you feel like, oh my goodness, Sabrina, you're in my mind. You know exactly how I feel. How do you know this? Because I've been there too. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible to break free, but it's hard to do it alone. It's definitely challenging to do it alone. So if you want some help, that's what I'm here for. Reach out to me. And just know that when you reach out to me, we're going to have an initial conversation. I just want to hear where you're at in your journey. If we feel like it's a good fit, then we can move forward. But the initial reach out, I just want you to connect with me and be like, Sabrina, I am also suffering from the good girl conditioning. I also experienced this. I just want to hear your story. And if you have curiosity around how it could look to break free, just know that from someone who's living it live, you're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel so much freer to just show up as yourself. You're going to want to share your opinion more than ever. You're going to see the impact that it has on others and want to step into that more and more. So trust me when I say that the minute you start taking those steps forward into embracing who you truly are and empowering yourself to be seen and heard, it's going to feel so amazing that that's all you're going to want to do. And you're going to want to step into it more. You're going to want to show up more. You're going to want to speak your opinion. The minute you do it once and you break the ice in the sense of like, sharing your opinion in a way that might be polarizing and then seeing how it's received. It just happened with me. I shared something on social media that I disagreed with, an unpopular opinion, and I got so many DMs of support. So that tells me that I'm not the only one who thinks that way. And by me sharing my opinion and using my platform and my voice, I can empower others as well. I can inspire those to use their voice. That's how you change the world. If you don't agree with what's going on, speak up. If you think you're the only one feeling that way, trust you are not. So by showing up and speaking up, then you start to attract those who feel the same way and you form a collective and a community. And our voices are definitely powerful the more that we are. But don't underestimate the power of your voice, of speaking up. And one person can make a difference because if you use your voice in the right way, you inspire others to use their voice too. And you come together to create a positive impact on the world. So, if you want to be part of that impact, if you want to be part of stepping into your truth and using your voice, let's chat because I'm building a collective. I'm building an army of thinkers, of leaders, of people who want to do things differently, people who embrace emotion, people who speak their mind, people who show up authentically. And if this resonates with you, if this lands with you, I want you on my team. So reach out to me. And also just reach out and let me know what you thought. If you can relate to what I've mentioned, if you are also suffering from good girl syndrome and conditioning and all of that, because I know I'm not alone, definitely. So let me know what you think. Again, I hope you feel called out because sometimes that's the gentle nudge that you need to know that there is a change that needs to happen, that this is a life that you cannot be living anymore because you're not living for yourself anymore. You're living for others, and you're so concerned with the opinion of others that it's exhausting. I want you to take all that energy that you're wasting on others that you can't control, that you don't know, take all that energy and channel it towards you. Channel it in to yourself and use it to help yourself show up in a way that you feel proud about, that you will have no regrets about because you're just true and authentic and you're you. So I encourage you all to do that. And until next time, keep living your life according to your rules.